Hi, I'm Orla, and this is the final instalment in our series about Henry de la Poer Beresford, the Mad Marquess of Waterford. When we left Henry, he was travelling across the world, causing havoc at home and abroad. His reputation preceded him, and he was even accused of being an urban legend in Victorian London, the infamous Spring-Heeled Jack, known for creeping across the streets of London and leaping out to scare his victims. However, his behaviour seems to have changed after a mock chivalric tournament in 1839. He was Knight of the Dragon in armour of polished steel. A newspaper from the time reported that Henry was all animation and drew many eager eyes towards him to catch a glimpse of the man who had acquired for himself so great and peculiar a renown. It is said that he fell in love at first sight with Louisa Stuart, a beautiful and pious artist, and daughter of Lord Stuart de Rothesay. They married in 1842, and he affectionately referred to her as Lou in his letters to his uncle. Henry and Louisa reportedly became outstanding landlords at Curramore, with Louisa building 2 chapels, a school and a factory. As a wedding gift to his tenants, Henry did not ask for rent for a year, amounting to about £75,000. Henry describes these improvements to his uncle in letters from 1856. He notes how he reinvested any profits made from farming into improving the land, while also displaying some characteristic competition with Primate Beresford. I have cut down the pheasant's wood, and draining and digging out the trees costs over £20 an acre. My factory at Kilmacthomas paid this year over 120% profits. I think that beats even your farming at Armagh. Despite positive reports of substantial investment and improvements to his land, there are also numerous contemporary newspaper articles which paint a grim picture of Henry as landlord. In 1846, during the Great Famine, a Dublin newspaper reported on rumours that Henry had evicted over 250 tenants from his land. The article details how tenants were left destitute and their houses were thrown down, in a similar manner to other estates across Ireland. Issues regarding the quality of Henry's landlordship are evidently complicated, and reports differ depending on which newspaper you read. However, letters written in the years following the famine certainly do not convey much preoccupation with the aftermath. Horses remained one of Henry's greatest passions. He kept hundreds and continued to hunt sometimes 6 days a week. He gave an account of letters he had been receiving from people asking him to recommend horses for them to buy, listing them with an imaginary eye roll. He replied to them that as their taste might differ from his, he could not recommend, but told them to use their own eyes instead. Primate Beresford came to visit Curramore in the summer of 1858, and the last letter from Henry, which we have at Prony, expresses how much he enjoyed the visit. I only wish it had been longer, but I hope to see you here again next year. It reminded me of many happy days I have passed in your society. However, this suggested visit never materialised, as in March the following year, Henry was thrown from his horse on the hunting field and died. In a letter to Primate Beresford, Louisa conveys her grief in the days following his death. His dear face is so grand, so happy, and looks only asleep with a gentle smile, nothing dreadful and ghastly, but peaceful and calm and lovely. What he was like you all know. Never did he say an unkind word to me, and years only seemed the more to endear him to me, and to show me how very great and guiltless his character was. After Henry died, his brother inherited the marquessate. Louisa left Curramore and spent the next summer travelling around Europe. Henry stipulated in his will that Louisa was to be left Ford Castle in Northumberland, and she lived there until her death, carrying on her charitable works as well as embarking on a successful watercolour painting career. Her paintings can still be found on the walls of an old school building in a town near Ford Castle. Curramore estate continued to be passed down through the Beresford family, and Henry's descendants still live there today. For the past few years, the estate has hosted the music festival All Together Now, a legacy I'm sure Henry would approve of. Thank you for watching our 3-part series on Henry the Mad Marquess of Waterford. The letters discussed in the series can be viewed here at Prony within the Pack Beresford collection.